Back then, I worked as the overnight security monitor at a Walmart supercenter, one of those massive stores open 24/7 with high ceilings and those long, humming fluorescent lights that never let you feel fully awake. My shift was 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. 5 nights a week, I sat in a small office watching 6 old monitors show the same grey aisles from slightly different angles. After a few weeks, I knew the system better than anyone. Which cameras had a 4-second delay? Which ones occasionally froze when the store's AC kicked in? Where the blind spots were? How to scrub the logs so no one would notice? So, I stole things. Not big things, just small stuff. Gum, headphones, disposable razors, stuff people barely notice. I'd grab it during a round, delete the footage from the right angle, and log the timestamp as a signal drop. It was easy, almost boring. Then, there was the night I took a pair of AirPods from a returns shelf in the back storeroom. Just 25 minutes of footage wiped. No one else was in the aisle. I was careful. The next morning, Jessica didn't show up for work. Jessica worked the late shift sometimes, stocking shelves or organizing the clearance section. She was quiet, early 20s, kept to herself, pale skin, big, tired eyes. The kind of person everyone forgets is there until she's not. I didn't think much of her absence at first. People ghost Walmart jobs all the time. But then night 2 passed. Then a third. Her name started coming up in murmurs, mostly from employees, not management. I heard things like, "She was acting weird lately," and "She probably just left." Nobody seemed worried. Until my supervisor knocked on the security office door 3 days later.
Hey Marcus, can you pull footage from the back storeroom around 3:15 a.m. on Tuesday?
My stomach dropped. That was the exact time I deleted footage to cover the AirPods. I played dumb, saying the system was glitchy. Must have been a signal loss, I told him. He bought it, walked away. But something gnawed at me. What if she'd gone in right after me? What if I deleted the only evidence of what happened to her? I couldn't sleep that day. The next night, I stayed late after my shift. I ran file recovery tools, poked into the archives, tried to see if there was any trace left of that footage. And that's when I saw it. A file I didn't recognize. Named Recovered Clip 0315 Jess. I don't know how it got there. I didn't create it. I opened it. The clip was 42 seconds long. It showed Jessica standing alone in the storeroom. Her hands were trembling. She kept glancing behind her. Then she looked directly into the camera. Straight at me, it felt like. Her mouth moved. I couldn't hear her, but she was mouthing something. Then a figure stepped into the frame behind her. Tall, hoodie pulled tight, face in shadow, holding something metal. Jessica turned, flinched. The video glitched, stuttered, froze. Then static. When I tried to replay it, the file was gone. The whole folder was gone. The next few nights, things got worse. Other logs started disappearing. Not ones I touched. Ones I knew for a fact I hadn't touched. Footage from registers, hallways, aisles, anything from that night. All of it. Gone. Some of the cameras were still live, but every attempt to replay past footage came back empty or corrupted. One night, I saw something else. I was watching the live feed from outside the storeroom when I noticed a figure standing motionless near the stock shelves. Hoodie. Still. Almost like it was waiting. But when I switched to a different camera and back, it was gone. And then the emails started. No sender. No subject. Just a message in the body. Stop trying to restore her. The second one came with an image attachment. It was a screenshot of me, sitting in the security office. From a camera angle I didn't recognize. Someone had access to more than just the feeds. They were watching me. I kept digging. One recovered folder contained corrupted still frames. Frame by frame, it showed Jessica entering the storeroom, then being pushed. Then the image blurred, warped like melted film. Every attempt to extract the full video failed. The system returned a message I'd never seen before. Access denied. Record has been archived permanently. I checked the admin logs. Someone with higher clearance than I had manually flagged every camera angle involving Jessica for auto-deletion. Every file, every login, scrubbed. I wasn't the one who erased her. I had only deleted one clip, but someone else. They erased everything, and they made sure no one remembered. The worst part? People started forgetting her. One of the cashiers, when I asked, blinked and said,
Jessica who?
Oh, are you talking about the girl who quit a while ago?
Jessica had only been gone 5 days. I checked the employee schedule system. Her name, gone. Her profile photo replaced with a default icon. Her locker in the break room was empty, clean, like no one ever used it. But I remembered. I still remembered. I wish I didn't. Then came the final message. It appeared on every monitor in the security room at once. White text, black screen. You deleted her, now stop looking. I stood up from my chair and the monitors flickered again. Jessica's face appeared, pale, blood on her forehead, eyes wide. No sound, just her lips moving. Over and over she mouthed the same sentence.
Don't let them erase me again.
I don't work at Walmart anymore. I left that job, burned the uniform, swore I'd forget. But I kept one thing, a USB drive. It contains the only surviving clip. A few seconds of Jessica looking into the camera, pleading, mouthing those words. Sometimes I plug it in, watch it in the dark, wonder who else remembers her. The video glitches worse every time, like it's fading. Soon, maybe it'll be gone too. And when it is, I wonder if I'll forget her like the others, or if I'll be next. I always knew taking a night shift at a rundown Burger King was a bad idea, but I needed the job. Bills don't pay themselves. The manager who hired me over a rushed Zoom call barely gave details, just that the branch had seen staffing issues and needed someone to turn things around. Sounded like typical corporate nonsense. But when I arrived, the place was a dump. Faded signage, flickering lights, and an old, greasy smell that clung to the air. There were no other employees, just me, alone. At around 10:30 p.m., the glass doors swung open, and he walked in. A clown, not the friendly balloon-twisting type. This guy looked wrong. His red wig was disheveled, makeup smeared, and his yellow jumpsuit stained with something dark. He strutted to the counter, grinning like he knew something I didn't.
Give me a Big Mac,
he said, voice raspy like he'd been laughing too much. I forced a smile, punched in his order, and watched as he took the burger, unwrapped it, took one slow bite, then suddenly spat it onto the floor.
Ugh, disgusting. This is not Big Mac. What a joke.
His eyes locked onto mine, and for a moment I felt small, like I was the joke. I turned to grab a napkin, and when I looked back, he was gone. No footsteps, no exit bell, just an uneaten burger sitting perfectly on the tray. But I just saw him bite into it. A cold sweat trickled down my spine. Something was wrong with this place. The first thing I thought was that I needed to hire more staff so I wouldn't feel so alone. I took the hiring notice and posted it on the front glass door. The power flickered. The hum of the freezer stuttered, and the overhead lights dimmed into a sickly orange glow. Then from behind me,
I'm so hungry, but not for this trash. Give me a Big Mac.
I spun around. The restaurant was empty,
Give me a Big Mac.
but the voice, it came from the counter. And then I saw it. A plastic king figurine, the kind used for kids' meals, sat on the register. It hadn't been there before, and yet its mouth moved, the crackling speaker inside letting out a distorted, static-filled voice.
Where's my Big Mac? Give me a Big Mac.
I picked it up. It was light, no batteries. I dropped it, stomach twisting. A loud bang echoed from the back storage room. Something, or someone, was inside. I pushed the door open, the cold air hitting me like a slap. The room was a mess. Boxes toppled over, plastic wrap torn apart. But the worst part, the life-sized Burger King mascot statue, the one usually propped near the entrance, was here, and there was a knife plunged into its chest. Dark red liquid seeped down the golden robe. It looked like ketchup at first, then I touched it. It was warm. My breath hitched. That wasn't ketchup. Then I heard it. A wet, gurgling chuckle from the dark corner of the room. A shadow moved. A figure stepped forward, illuminated by the flickering light. I saw the white-painted face first, stretched into an unnatural smile. His red lips curled upward, but his eyes were empty.
This dump shouldn't even exist. Everyone knows McDonald's runs the game.
I recognized the yellow jumpsuit, the red wig, the grease-stained gloves. Ronald McDonald, or something pretending to be him. He raised his hand. A rusted butcher knife glinted in the dim light. I stumbled back. My heart slammed against my ribs.
Give me a Big Mac!
Then, he lunged. I barely dodged, his knife slicing through my uniform sleeve. My hands scrambled for anything. A weapon, a shield, when my fingers brushed against a cast iron pan on a nearby shelf. I grabbed it and swung with everything I had. The impact sent Ronald crashing to the floor, limbs twitching. His grin never faded. Even as his head lolled unnaturally to the side, he kept smiling. I didn't wait. I ran. I sprinted down the highway, lungs burning, until I spotted a police cruiser parked by a gas station. I banged on the window, yelling. The officers stepped out, eyes narrowing as they took in my blood-streaked uniform and frantic babbling. I told them everything, but they didn't react. They looked past me, talking into their radios.
Yeah, we found the scene.
One officer said.
Looks like it's been abandoned for decades, but there's something else.
I waved my arms. Hey, listen to me, I'm right here. No response. I reached for one officer's shoulder and my hand passed right through him. A deep, suffocating dread settled in my chest. I turned. The officers were standing by the Burger King lot. Only, it wasn't a restaurant anymore. Just a crumbling sign, half buried in the dirt.
Jesus.
One officer muttered.
Over here.
I followed his gaze and saw my own body, lying in the dirt. Gimme a Big Mac. I'd been out of work for nearly 2 months. At first, it felt manageable, updating my resume, sending out applications, but the silence that followed began to chip away at me. One rejection turned into 20, and soon I was counting coins to buy instant noodles while dodging calls from my landlord. That's when I saw the ad. It looked outdated, like someone built the site in a rush and never checked it again. But there it was, the Wendy's logo, bright and familiar. Part-time staff needed, weekly pay, immediate start, must follow upper management's instructions. No contact info, no application portal, just a big red apply button. I told myself it was probably just a rural franchise running on outdated tech. I didn't need polished. I needed income. So I clicked. Less than an hour later, they texted me the address. It led to a forgotten corner of town, past rows of broken warehouses and crumbling fences. When I pulled up, I sat in the car for a long moment, just staring. The Wendy's sign was mirrored from inside the glass. The neon lights flickered with a sickly hum. Every window was so caked in grime it looked like they were trying to keep the light out. I reminded myself this wasn't downtown. It was the edge of the city. Places like this were always a little rough around the edges. As long as they paid me, I didn't care what it looked like. So I got out of the car and walked in. The smell hit me first, stale fryer oil clinging to layers of bleach. Then manager stepped out from the back, wearing a stained, faded apron. No greeting, no name, just a cold glance, then silence. He asked for my ID, gave it a quick look, then said,
"You good to start today?"
The speed of it threw me off. No paperwork, no questions, but I needed this. "Yes," I said. He handed me a faded shirt and nodded toward the back.
"You're on kitchen duty. All meat prep comes through you. The freezer's your station now."
The freezer was colder than any I'd ever been in, and it wasn't just the temperature. The air was thick, foul, metallic. The meat wasn't packaged in neat boxes or sealed bags. It was piled in torn plastic sheets, dark liquid leaking from every side into puddles on the floor. Some pieces looked mauled. "I thought Wendy's used fresh beef," I muttered. The manager appeared behind me without a sound.
"We just sell whatever upper management sends us. Don't ask questions."
I should have walked away. But that night he handed me an envelope, thick, soft, with a stack of cash folded inside. So I came back the next day, and the day after that. The place stayed busy. Drive-through cars looped around the building. Inside, people devoured their meals like they hadn't eaten in days. But after just a few days, customers began to return, their faces pale, their movements slow and shaky. Some burst through the doors, clutching their stomachs, demanding answers, their voices rising with panic. I told the manager, twice, but he didn't flinch, just stared at me with that same unreadable face.
"Some people just can't handle it."
Later that night, he handed me another envelope, thicker than the last, warm from his pocket. I should have walked away right then and there, but something held me back. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe it was the image of those sick, helpless people who'd eaten what we served them. I couldn't ignore it anymore. I had to find out where that meat really came from. The next night, when the delivery truck pulled in, I followed it. It drove miles out of town and veered off the road into a fenced compound labeled Dawn Bend Livestock. I parked off-road and climbed through a hole in the fence. There were pens, dozens of them, and inside were cows, if you could still call them that. They twitched and stumbled, barely able to stand. skin flaking, covered in raw patches. Their eyes glowed red, pupils wide and erratic, and the sounds they made. They didn't moo. They screamed, long, high-pitched wails that curdled my spine. Men in hazmat suits moved between the pens, spraying thick chemicals. One of them muttered,
"It's too late! The virus is in the marrow!"
And then I saw him, my manager, standing at the center of it all. Before I could move, one of the cows saw me. It charged. I turned to run, but the ground gave way beneath me. My feet stuck in the mud. I couldn't breathe. The thing came barreling toward me, and then something slammed into me from the side. The manager, he'd thrown me out of its path. We hit the ground hard. The cow crashed into the fence with a sickening crack, but didn't stop. He grabbed the meat cleaver from the ground and without hesitation brought it down in a single, brutal arc, severing the creature's head. It dropped instantly, its body crumpling into the mud like a sack of ruined flesh. We sat there in the mud, both gasping for breath.
This place used to raise black market cattle, sick animals, mutated strains. We thought we could contain it, but the virus changed. They're not cattle anymore.
Before I could respond, a voice rang out from across the yard.
"Inspectors are almost here."
Everything snapped into chaos. The manager tossed me a hazmat suit and told me to put it on. Said it might protect me from whatever this thing was. Then the workers rushed in, brandishing meat cleavers and stun guns, charging the pens. The creatures, if they were still animals at all, screamed as they were slaughtered, blood spraying across the walls, splattering our boots and gloves. I moved with them, helping without thinking, without understanding. Yes, even me. Minutes later, the pens fell silent. Bodies were dragged behind the shed. Bleach flooded the concrete. Everyone worked fast, scrubbing, covering, erasing what had just happened. By the time the inspectors arrived, the farm looked quiet, clean, almost normal. But I wasn't. My skin burned. My throat tightened. Something inside me pulsed, desperate to escape. One inspector approached.
"You all right?"
I opened my mouth to answer and vomited black sludge straight into his face. Then, everything went black.
I'm Sarah. I rented an old McDonald's. Luckily, the equipment was still in good condition, so I just had to do some minor cleaning, and I can open my store tomorrow. While cleaning, I heard a strange noise. I followed the sound and found a Ronald McDonald statue. I'm so lucky. Kids love Ronald. I'll put it in front of the store. I'm sure it will attract a lot of children. Opening day was a huge success. We were open until 11 p.m. Everyone was exhausted, so I decided to work the late shift. This town is mostly farms, so I figured it would be pretty quiet. I was just sitting there, scrolling through my phone, when I heard the order bell. I went to the counter, but there was no one there. Maybe I heard it wrong. Just as I was about to close the window, a blood-red message caught my eye. More childish pranks? This town isn't as peaceful as I thought. I had just sat down when the bell rang again, urgently. Someone was trying to mess with me already. I stood up angrily and was about to confront whoever was doing this when it appeared in front of me. Exactly. It appeared because I had shut all the doors of the sales booth.
Get out of here!
She looked scary, but she was just a little girl, right? Are you hungry? Can I help you?
Aren't you scared of me?
She seemed so miserable. She must have suffered a lot. I replied calmly, "You're not scary at all." Suddenly, the window shattered. Was it not her ringing the bell? I looked at the window and there was Ronald McDonald staring at me with an evil grin. What in the world is happening?
Run!
Sully's scream jolted me back to reality, and I instinctively followed her. We dashed into the storage room, and I couldn't resist asking her, "Hey, you seem to know a lot about that creepy clown statue." She didn't respond, but floated up, sending a crate crashing to the floor. There, before my eyes, was a crate of files, full of the store's dark secrets.
The clown statue is haunted by Sean. He's the one who hurt me. He would put on a Ronald McDonald costume, and since my dad was always busy, I'd come to the store alone. Sean would always treat me. One day, Sean said he would take me home instead of my dad. I went with him, but we went farther and farther, and it got darker and darker. I tried to escape, but he held me tight. I was terrified. He hurt me so badly that my soul left my body. I knew right then that I was dead. My dad thought Sean had hurt me, but he couldn't find any proof. So my dad killed him right here in front of the store. So my dad went to jail. And that guy, Sean, possessed the clown statue and started haunting me.
I couldn't believe the reason this store was closed was so terrifying. Just then, the storage room door slammed shut with a bang. "Sully, don't worry, I'm here for you." The door was kicked open and the creepy clown appeared with a sinister laugh. He wasn't a friendly clown anymore. Inside him was a monster.
You sick bastard! I won't let you hurt anyone else.
Even though I smashed its head in, the clown statue didn't seem to care. Its smile was so taunting. The clown could even control broken bricks. I didn't see that coming. I could only cover my head.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. This statue is going down. I'm going to crush this evil statue and make that pervert Sean disappear forever. I turned him into dust. Let's see if he can come back. Finally, the clown was completely defeated. Sully ran to hug me. Now she can finally rest. To give Sully's spirit peace, I called the police to the spot where her body was buried. As she wished, I also asked her father to come and claim her body. Finally, after 23 years, her body was found. Seeing the old man, her father, sorrowfully holding his daughter's body, my heart ached. This was the last comfort for him. He finally got to meet his daughter. I did a good thing, didn't I?
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Goodbye, Sully. Anna Perez, 22 years old, works at a bar. She went missing after her shift. No friends, no family came forward to report it. She's the fourth victim in the past 3 months. All the victims are women working in the red light district. All of them disappeared mysteriously, with no witnesses or useful evidence to go on.
Hey, Gabby. I bought you some of those famous tacos from the stand outside headquarters. You're thinking about those missing person cases again, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I keep feeling like there's some connection between the cases.
There's nothing to it. The security in that area is a mess. Girls working in that district, how many of them live clean lives? Who's to say they didn't borrow money from some gang and run away? Sometimes you have to ignore the things you see. If you get too deep into it, the one who ends up hurt will be you.
I understand. Thanks, Joel. I'm Gabby, a police officer. I can't turn a blind eye to the crimes happening in my jurisdiction, especially when the victims are nothing but vulnerable young women. I returned home and quickly summarized the witness statements I had collected.
Spit out the piece of meat you swallowed from me! Hurry!
Why on earth would I have such a bizarre dream? What on earth is the hidden truth behind all of this? Exactly 7 days later, I received another report of a missing person. This time, once again, it was a young woman named Sue, another worker from the red light district. I opened the window to get some fresh air. I noticed the taco truck had reopened today. Thinking back, these mysterious disappearances always happened just a few days before the taco truck resumed business. The string of coincidences made me suspicious. I decided to investigate. I'll take one taco, please.
You're lucky. That's the last one I have.
Is it because you only open on certain days each month that your tacos are so sought after?
Exactly. My truck only opens on special religious holidays for the cast of faith. Days for sharing love. Oh, nothing too unusual.
Thank you. The cast of faith? Seems like she let something slip there.
Enjoy your meal.
Back at the office, I immediately started investigating the cast of faith that Amila had mentioned. It was an ancient sect of the indigenous people, riddled with strange and barbaric practices like many other cults. But what caught my attention was the history of caster followers being arrested for performing human sacrifice rituals and consuming the victims as a way to absolve their own sins. A chilling sensation ran down my spine. Could the taco I ate really be normal? Unable to suppress my unease, I began searching through the filling for anything unusual. After sifting through the pieces of slightly dark-colored meat, a corner of a black dahlia tattoo emerged before my eyes. It was an exact match to the tattoo on the body of the most recent victim. This taco was made from human flesh. The truth was beginning to unfold, but to secure a warrant for Amila's arrest, I needed DNA confirmation from both the victim and the meat sample. Just then, a bank officer called to inform me that someone had used Anna's credit card. Extract all CCTV footage from the area and send me an image of the suspect as quickly as possible.
What's going on, Gabby?
I have a breakthrough in my case. I have to go now. Joel, help me get this meat sample and Sue's hair sample tested. Even if we don't have a solid conclusion yet, I'm sure Amila is connected to this case. Instead of waiting for a search warrant, I decided to break into her house to look for direct evidence. With some luck, I might even save her next victim. I searched every corner of the kitchen, but there was nothing suspicious. The entire space was spotless, as if it had just been thoroughly cleaned. Or perhaps this wasn't where she made the human meat tacos. As I was thinking, a message from the bank officer came through. To my surprise, the person using Anna's credit card was a man. Could it be that I've made a mistake? Impossible. Surely in this human taco case, Amila has an accomplice.
Looks like it's time to catch the nasty little mouse.
Amila, how did she come back so soon? To my surprise, the person using Anna's credit card was a man. Could it be that I have made a mistake? Impossible. Surely in this human taco case, Amila has an accomplice.
Looks like it's time to catch the nasty little mouse.
Amila, how did she come back so soon? I quickly hid in one of the rooms. Whatever Amila's words meant, my instincts told me that if she caught me, nothing good would come of it. She entered the room, her footsteps growing louder as she got closer to my hiding spot. I held my breath, heart pounding, but thankfully she didn't seem interested in checking the wardrobe. I wanted to escape this house as fast as I could, but just then, a notebook caught my eye. This was exactly what I had been looking for. I nervously opened the notebook. On the very first page, I saw a photo of Amila, and that man, Frank. My suspicions were spot on. They were indeed connected, though it seemed there was no marital tie between them. The notebook was like Pandora's box. The deeper I delved, the more horrifying truths came to light. The Caster cult had indeed been sacrificing victims and eating their flesh. They even took photos to document their achievements. All the missing victims had been turned into their food. It was beyond disgusting. At that moment, the wardrobe door burst open without warning. The sudden flood of light blinded me.
Found the little mischievous mouse.
My heart raced wildly. Acting on instinct, I mustered every bit of training I had from the police academy and attacked the two figures in front of me to try and escape. But my strength alone wasn't enough. I was facing two serial killers. Frank's biceps wrapped tightly around my neck, the searing pain making it feel as though my neck could snap at any moment. I struggled in vain, my vision dimming until everything faded to black. I had no idea how long I'd been unconscious. When I woke up, my whole body ached and my head was spinning. But the figure standing before me snapped me back to full awareness.
Finally awake. I've been waiting for you for a long time.
Joel, you scared me. Did our team manage to capture Frank and Amila? Why am I here? Why was Joel here? Did he save me? But why bring me to this place? This looked like a human slaughterhouse. Joel, can you get me out of here first?
You're too naive. Haven't you wondered how Amila found you so quickly?
Get away from me, you freak!
You little wretch. You filthy outsider. Only the purified followers of Caster are worthy of leading this world. The rest of you, you're nothing but reserve stock for us.
You're insane. People like you are the ones who deserve to be eliminated by society and punished by the law. At that moment, Frank and Amila entered the room.
High Priest, is everything all right?
High Priest, are you hurt?
I have made my decision. This sinner here will be the next sacrifice for the day of sharing. Until then, make her suffer and atone for all of us.
Excellent! Let this sinner become divine sustenance to cleanse us.
For the sake of population control and purification!
I was terrified and utterly helpless. The people I was facing were no longer human. They were bloodthirsty monsters. They dressed me in a white gown and tied me to a large pillar. I looked like a helpless lamb awaiting slaughter. Then the butcher appeared, holding a thin blade and a silver platter. A chilling dread enveloped me. All I could do was scream in terror, but my cries seemed to excite him even more. With a swift, precise cut, he treated me like a giant block of cheese to be carved and scraped at his will. I was still alive, but it was a fragile existence, sustained only until the day of sharing. And with all the hatred Joel harbored for me, each day dragged on in agony. To them, I was nothing more than a substitute offering, a vessel for their so-called atonement. Finally, the day of sharing has arrived. I can no longer distinguish whether this marks the end of my days of suffering or the beginning of my ultimate torment. With all my remaining strength, I began my crazy plan of revenge. No matter the cost, I would not let those evil people get what they wanted. With a bottle of rust remover and some iron filings, I would create a deadly poison that would destroy me, but would also drag those who had harmed me to hell. The demons entered the room, but I was no longer afraid.
We offer this sinner as a sacrifice for atonement, so that we and those who consume her flesh may be cleansed of sin.
You can laugh now. Soon, my flesh and blood will kill you all.
Ore Lumina.
Ore Luminar.
Ore Luminar.
Ore Luminar.
The tacos made from my flesh will poison your customers. The police will come for you soon. I close my eyes with a satisfied smile, as if somewhere in the distance I hear the sound of police sirens, growing louder, enveloping me. I have always believed that knowledge is power. A glimpse into the future, a mere whisper of what is to come, would be enough to change the course of fate. And why shouldn't I be the one to wield such power? I was beautiful. I was intelligent. I was persuasive. There was nothing I could not obtain. So when Apollo came to me offering the greatest gift of all, the sight beyond time, I did not hesitate. But the gods are never so generous.
Love me,
He murmured, his golden hands caressing the air between us.
and I will make you the voice of the gods.
I laughed. Did he think I would give my heart so freely? I wanted his gift, not his affections. I turned away. His face did not twist in rage, nor did he strike me down. No, his vengeance was crueler. He left me my gift, the sight of what is to come, but stripped me of the power to change it.
You will see the doom of all you love, yet your words will fall like wind upon deaf ears. This is my gift to you, Cassandra, and you will pray for death before the end.
I thought his curse meant disbelief, but now I know the truth. His punishment is far worse. The first time I saw the future, it was like drowning. I fell to my knees, clutching my throat, my vision blackening at the edges. Images tore through my mind like rusted daggers, smoke rising from the walls of Troy, the sky painted in hues of blood. I opened my mouth to scream, but only black bile poured forth, thick and reeking of decay. It dribbled down my chin, burned my throat, filled my lungs. I gasped for air. The court recoiled from me. She's gone mad, someone whispered. My father, King Priam, looked at me with something that was not quite fear, but something worse. Pity. I wiped my mouth, my fingers stained black. Troy will burn, I rasped. Paris must not go to Sparta. He must not take Helen. If he does, we are all dead. Silence. Then laughter. The nobles shook their heads, exchanging knowing glances. Poor Cassandra, they murmured. She was always strange. Paris smiled, placing a hand on my shoulder.
Sister, you worry too much. The gods favor us.
I stared at him, watching as behind him, his face melted into something grotesque. His skull split open, his flesh rotted away, his eyes sunken and black with death. But when I blinked, he was normal again. He left for Sparta the next morning. The prophecies did not stop. Each time they came, they took more of me. My body weakened. My skin grew clammy, stretched too tight over my bones. My hands shook. And always, after every vision, the bile would rise, spilling from my lips in thick, oozing waves. The people whispered, "She's cursed." She speaks of death, and death follows. She brings ruin. My father locked me away. Guards stood at my door. The palace halls echoed with my screams. I saw it all. The siege, the starvation, the slaughter, my brothers cut down, my father's blood staining the marble floors, my people screaming as they burned, and yet I was powerless. Helen arrived in Troy, her beauty shining like a cursed star. I lunged at her, shrieking, "You are death! You will destroy us all!" The black bile poured from my lips, pooling at my feet. The smell of rot filled the air. Helen did not flinch. She merely tilted her head, smiling, and whispered,
"Then let it begin."
The war dragged on. Years of blood, of bodies piled high at the gates. I warned them, Troy will fall, Troy will fall. But my words meant nothing. Then, one day, the battlefield was empty. The Greeks were gone, and in their place, a gift, a massive wooden horse standing silently outside the gates. No, this was a trick. I saw them already, the warriors hiding inside, their blades gleaming in the dark. I saw them emerging in the dead of night, slaughtering my people as they slept. I saw fire licking at the walls, the screams of children, the streets running red. The bile rose as I screamed, my voice raw and broken. Burn it! Burn it now before it's too late! They laughed. They called me a madwoman, a harbinger of doom. Enough, Cassandra, they spat. Enough of your madness. The gates opened. The horse was brought inside. That night, the slaughter began. I awoke to the scent of blood. The screams of my people filled the air. The Greeks were everywhere, their blades cutting through flesh, their torches setting the city ablaze. Smoke burned my lungs and I stumbled through the chaos, my dress drenched in bile and blood. The visions flashed faster now. Priam's throat slit open, my brothers' heads on spikes, the temple floors slick with gore. I saw it all before it happened, my mind screaming warnings that no one could hear. Apollo's laughter echoed through the flames. This was his curse. Not just that no one believed me, but that I had to witness it all. Again, and again, and again. I was dragged from the burning ruins, my wrists bound. The Greeks would not kill me yet. I was to be taken, a prize of war. I lifted my gaze one final time. Apollo stood in the smoke, his golden eyes gleaming. He had won. Troy was gone. But I remained, a prophetess of death, a ghost in my own skin. I would live, and I would see every horror yet to come.
When I opened my eyes, I found myself at the long, chaotic banquet table. Teapots were scattered across the surface, surrounded by mouldy pastries and piles of cracked porcelain cups, and saucers stacked in no order at all. All around me stood silent figures, unmoving. Each one wore a cracked porcelain mask, frozen in a wide. At the head of the table was a man with a tall, tilted hat perched precariously on his head. His eyes glowed unnaturally bright, and they were locked on me.
I'm the Mad Hatter. Welcome to my Mad Tea Party, Alice.
He gave an exaggerated bow, lifting his hat with a theatrical flourish. The hat was slick and pale, its surface stitched together with thick, glaring red seams. It looked almost alive, a grotesque patchwork of stolen skin. Then he offered me a cup of tea.
Go on, try it. A special blend made just for you, Alice.
Every instinct in my body screamed that something was wrong, but under his unwavering gaze, I hesitated, then lifted the cup to my lips and took a sip. The taste was sweet at first, but it turned metallic, sharp, and foul, coating my tongue with the tang of blood. My stomach turned. As I set the cup back down, the Mad Hatter's smile tightened. He raised an eyebrow and said in a voice that was still polite, but now laced with warning,
Refusing the host tea? Wouldn't that be terribly rude?
Suddenly, everything around me began to spin. I gripped the teacup tightly, trying not to lose control. Then I looked up, frozen stiff with fear. The guests at the table had taken off their masks. What lay beneath weren't faces. Their skin was sewn together from mismatched patches, stitched in thick red threads like someone had tried to fix them. They looked like marionettes, abandoned and left to rot. Terror rushed through me. I pushed my chair back and ran, knocking over plates and spilling cold tea as I stumbled away. Behind me, I heard the Mad Hatter yelling, his voice sharp and angry.
You're leaving already, Alice? But the party's just begun.
I didn't dare look back. I just ran straight into the woods, where the trees closed in like walls. I didn't know how long I ran, but my legs grew weak, my lungs burned, and my head spun. Then I heard it. A slow, steady ticking. Before I could react, something crashed into me. I fell hard to the ground. When I looked up, I saw him, the White Rabbit, dressed in a neat little coat, clutching a pocket watch. And just before the darkness swallowed me, I heard him whisper,
No one leaves the tea party, Alice.
When I came to, I was back at the tea table. The same lace cloth, the same porcelain teacup, only now the tea inside had turned thick and black, like oil. The guests were gone. Dozens of hats were lined up on the table, as if they had taken their place. and every single one was made of skin. Some were dry and cracked, others were still fresh, soft, almost bleeding. I couldn't look away. Then I felt him right beside me, his breath warm against my cheek.
The tea party isn't over!
He held out a biscuit shaped like a finger. He laughed softly and opened the sugar jar. Inside, instead of sugar cubes, there were eyes, cloudy, glassy, some still glistening wet. I wanted to scream, but all that came out was a whisper. Where are the others?
They didn't make the cut, but you're different. Just look at your skin. So smooth it feels like silk. The perfect material for my final masterpiece.
He picked up the leather hat with care, treating it like a prize, blood dripping steadily from it as he swayed gently, humming a broken, eerie song. And that's when it started. An itch crawled across my cheek, then burned. I touched my face. My fingers came away bloody. A piece of my skin had peeled off. He noticed. His hand shot out, snatching it from mine with glee. He pressed it to the hat with trembling delight, cradling it like a gift. I screamed and ran. Behind me, his laughter rang out, sharp and lilting, like a song that wouldn't end. It chased me through the trees, a sound too gleeful to belong to anything human. Then I caught sight of that familiar rabbit, hiding at the base of the tree. Maybe it knew the way out. I staggered toward the place where it had taken cover. Its fur shook, and its wide, terrified eyes were fixed on the ticking clock in its paws.
No time left. No more time.
No more time for what? But before it could answer, he was there. The Mad Hatter snatched the rabbit up like a toy. It kicked once, then froze.
You had one job!
Then, without hesitation, he skinned it in a single fluid motion. The white fur, now streaked with red, was tossed over his shoulder like a shawl. He turned to me.
But it's all right. You're still here, my perfect guest, and tonight, you'll help me craft the most beautiful hat this world has ever seen.
None of it made sense. No, I had to wake up. I had to get out of this nightmare. It felt like it was finally over. Or maybe it had only just begun.
I was Corporal Thomas Baker. I served in the Army. Every morning we collected the dead. Every night the sky exploded with gunfire. Screams tore through the dark. There was no peace, no rest, not even in sleep. And yet, in the middle of all that death, the only thing that brought me comfort was our meals. While the other units gnawed on cold beans and tough jerky, we sat down to steaming stew so fragrant it felt like a gift from the gods. The man behind it all was Sam Gray. We called him Uncle Sam. He was technically the cook, but to us he was more than that. He was a savior. No matter how bad the war got, Uncle Sam made sure we never went hungry. But then, things started to feel wrong. It was just another ordinary day on the front lines. By dinner, we were still laughing and cracking jokes like always, but unlike usual, the stew that night was incredible. Rich, flavorful, and so tender it melted the moment it touched the tongue. A few minutes later, things slowly began to change. One by one, people clutched their stomachs, dizzy and nauseous. At first, I thought it was nothing more than a stomach bug, but then it hit me too. Just as I was chewing a piece of meat, my throat tightened. I gagged, unable to breathe. I coughed hard, over and over, until something dropped into my hand. It was a fingernail. It looked human. I stared down at the meat left on my plate. Something felt wrong. The texture looked off. The color was too dark. I tried to reassure myself, maybe it was just low-quality pork, or a tough cut of old beef. But that fingernail, I couldn't make sense of it. I went to Uncle Sam and asked him what kind of meat we were really eating. He gave me the same warm smile he always did.
Don't worry, son. It's fresh meat.
But when I asked if I could see the kitchen, that smile vanished.
That area is off limits. Orders from above, Thomas.
There was something off about the way Uncle Sam responded. It felt like he was trying to cover something up. I couldn't just leave it alone. I had to find out the truth. Dawn had just broken. While the entire camp was still asleep, I quietly followed Uncle Sam. He walked with a light step, whistling softly, a basket swinging from his hand like he was just heading to the market to choose the best cut of meat. Maybe I should have turned back. I should have stayed out of it. But something in me said I couldn't stop now. Uncle Sam made his way to a locked shed behind the mess hall. I crept along the side and found a crack in the wooden wall. I leaned in and looked through, and what I saw was hell. There were bodies stacked high like slabs of meat in a slaughterhouse, bloodied and tangled together, still dressed in enemy uniforms. The stench hit me like a wave, thick, foul, rotting. Was this really the same smell I had once craved at dinner? Uncle Sam stepped up to one of the corpses, calm and unbothered. He pressed his fingers into the thigh like he was testing a cut of steak. Then he pulled out a knife, sliced a thick piece from the leg, and dropped it into the basket. All the while, he kept whistling like nothing was wrong. Another man entered.
Is this batch good, sir?
Fresh like this. It'd be a shame to waste it.
I stumbled backward, hands trembling from the horror I had just witnessed. I threw up behind the shed, and then everything went dark. I woke up tied to a chair, thick ropes dug into my wrists. In front of me was a metal table lined with plates of steaming meat. Uncle Sam stood nearby, wiping a carving knife, smiling like we were about to sit down for a warm family dinner.
You're awake, Thomas. Good.
You made us eat human flesh. You turned us into monsters.
Just the bodies of the enemy. You think the vultures would have let them rest in peace. So why should we waste them? People need food to survive.
I couldn't believe what I'd heard. My throat tightened with nausea, but somehow I felt a gnawing hunger rising inside me. Uncle Sam picked up a slice of freshly roasted meat.
You're special, Thomas. Others get sick. But you're adapting.
I shook my head. No, I'm not like you. But when he held the meat to my lips, I ate it. My stomach twisted violently. My muscles jerked like something was crawling beneath my flesh. Veins bulged across my arms, twitching like they were trying to escape. But then, it stopped. My body settled.
See, you're evolving. You are the future.
I had become Uncle Sam's experiment. He said the meat crisis would be a thing of the past, that everything would be taken care of. I told myself I hated him. But hunger erased everything. And God, I needed that taste like I was losing my mind.